You know you want this is the pop. Yeah. Well, they're talking about their kaiju.
Let me clean up this camera.
Okay, all right. We do have strawberry coffee and it's limited. Okay.
They're just finishing up.
Thank you for
It's my crowd.
Okay, what percentage of AA and HPI audiences this is not for the Jersey make a conscious effort to support media from creators that reflect their identity? That was that big purple circle. Somebody else. Okay, right there. That was you. All right. Okay, what percentage of AA and content and fandom? Ooh. This one will be for the Jerseys. By the way, it's a size medium that's never been known. Okay. How many minutes did audiences? You gotta put your hand up. Not yet. Put your hand down. Okay. How many minutes did audiences stream K-pop Demon Hunters in 2025? I saw a white shirt. No, K-pop Demon Hunters. You're so close to it. You're so close. Using a little more millions. Right here. That's right, 2025. Come get your jersey. You got to show it to everybody. All right. We have like 2 more questions and then we'll let the session continue. Are you a Dr. Smith? Girl, I'll see you there. I have season tickets. All right. And let's see. How many minutes did audiences stream BTS Return the first 7 days of its release? This was. Does anyone catch this one? I think I went over this one pretty quick. Do you have it, or are you showing me that I have 2 minutes?
47 minutes.
47. You're right. 47 million. Come get some coffee. Okay, which series led all anime in total volume with 1.2 billion minutes viewed in January and February alone? We had a special on this one. One piece, girl. Come get your coffee. Come on. Nobody wants the chocolate because it melts. You know why? But you know why it melts? Because it's real and it's good. If it doesn't melt, it's not real. Okay, AA and HPI audiences are how much more likely to identify as fans of the Olympics? I don't think I went into this one, so I don't think I went into this. I think I skipped past it. 18% more likely. This is one of those things. I think there is a lot of myths that we need to bust about AA and HPI audience and AA and HPI audiences and fan engagement. That's one of them. All right. Now, okay. This will be the last one, and then I know we got to move on. In 2025, how many of the top 100 broadcast programs? It was 91. That's right. A lot of sports we watched. Don't tell me. Here they are. All right. Come and grab your coffee. Thank you, everyone, for your time. Please download the report. Take it.
We're up next. All right.
Casey, that was great. Definitely resonated with me. You know, specifically around Asian culture and
Yeah, together.
Rethinking.
Sorry, I have a YouTube live.
I'm a baseball fan too, and my favorite player is Tim Lincecum of the San Francisco Giants.
You get the honorary duty of
Gotta make sure I
holding the mic.
All right. So everybody, what we're up next is that we're going to talk about AI. I'm going to get a hand up of how many people here has integrated AI into your daily routines. Come on. All right. I'm going to go a little bit further
Can I
here.
use this chair?
Who is using ChatGPT? Raise your hands. All right. How about Gemini? All right. So some people are double. How about Claude? There you go. Yeah. So these are the more advanced people using Claude. I'm just letting you know. But today we're going to talk about this. We're going to talk about AI and the human edge, rethinking creativity, marketing, and decision making. And on the panel today, I think Iris from Sparkle Insights and board member, she's going to moderate, I believe. Are you not moderating? Oh, I'm so bad. Dr. Courtney Payne, please come to the stage. Co-director of Masters in Communications and Management at USC Annenberg. And we have Albert Shi, Chief Product Officer of Mobagel. Got cut over to the other side. Jessica Ko, CEO and co-founder of Playbook, and Pamela Chen, founder of Kua? What is that? Qua Advisory. All right. Please welcome them to the stage. Thank you.
titled AI and the Human Edge, Rethinking Creativity, Marketing, and Decision Making. And we have 30-minute schedules, and I think we can solve all of that in 30 minutes. We know in the last 2 years, AI has rapidly transformed the way that all industries do work, and especially ours. And so as we're balancing this tension, we're also realizing more and more where human touch is most needed. As you said, I am Dr. Courtney Pade. I am co-director of the Masters of Communication Management program at USC, which is Annenberg's largest master's program. I also have welcomed Cheryl and Joe Min to guest lecture in my class multiple times. I'm really thrilled to be here. So let's start with introducing our panel. So please introduce yourselves and think about one way that AI has transformed your work in the last year that you are surprised by. Iris?
Hi everyone, my name is Iris Yim. I am in consumer insights and strategy, and I have been doing multicultural research for many years. One way that surprised me in terms of the usage of AI is that AI not only makes us work faster, but also more capable. If you have deep domain knowledge and clear thinking, AI can help you bring your ideas to life faster than ever. For example, at Sparkle Insights, we created a couple of solutions based on our proprietary cultural insights library beyond primary research, although we don't have the same resources as big agencies and technology companies.
Hi everybody, I'm Pamela and I'm the founder of Qua Advisory, and for those who speak Chinese, Qua means to cross and to span. And prior to that, I was running a creative shop called Mother in Shanghai. I'm ex-WPP, so I've worked in the agency world for a very, very long time. And AI is just one of those things where we started off using it as a creative tool, but it's really evolved into overall workflow, decision making. So, especially, being in China where the speed of technology adoption, innovation is so fast, it's really interesting to see both sides, because I do a lot of work cross-border with brands, and I think right now is the time to really immerse yourself in a lot of the new inventions that are coming out, because I think it's going to impact how you communicate with your audiences.
Hi, my name is Jessica Koh. You can find me on LinkedIn. I encourage it, actually. I've read all my messages. I've been in tech for about 20 years now, so I was early Google, worked on Google Drive 2 years before it launched. And then after that, I became a founding designer, head of design, head of brand at a company called Open Door, which IPO, it's a real estate company. And then now I started a new company 6 years ago. It's called Playbook. It's playbook.com, very easy to remember. It's a digital asset management, media asset management for marketers and agencies. And I've been working at it. You can see the transition coming from me working on Google Drive to building something for marketers when I had a trouble with managing assets at Open Door. So now I wanted to build a software that manages all of that seamlessly. One thing that I would say that AI changed in my life, I became less dependent on people, I think. It's like you can code, you can strategize, you can check your grammar on your emails. So all of those things, I became less dependent. That would be a big change.
Hi everyone, my name is Albert. I went to Cal, UC Berkeley Go Bears. But basically, we've been building something that really been able to help brands and agencies navigate through all of these data and to drive decision making. So for the past 10 years, we've been helping brands and agencies answer one challenging question, and that is, why do all of us, all these smart people with all of these powerful and pretty expensive tools, still take 14 dashboards, different dozen tools to answer one question? And that's exactly what has happened in the past year, where we see people copy and pasting ChatGPT, Gemini responses to Slack messages, and now AI has been able to transform our workflows and to be a part of that. And that's the product we've been building to help brands and agencies communicate better with AI.
It's great, thank you. And so that scratched the surface, but actually thinking through, where is AI delivering real value for each of you in your day-to-day or even more longer term?
I am in consumer insights. So one way that I use AI is obviously speed. It's very helpful in giving me a starting point, whatever I work on, for example, creating research documents, screener, discussion guide, even proposal, not to mention a report, giving me that first draft instead of me starting from scratch, right? Like staring at the blank page or blank screen. And then from there, at that point, then I can add to my thinking, my observation, my own conclusions. It's the same process, same workflow. However, it does help us shorten the time that, and also help us get to the next step of analysis. For example, what's the insights? What's the story? What's the implication for the client's business faster? And then deliver the report faster, which I think faster is the theme nowadays.
I think for me, it's really in 3 areas, and the first one being sort of speed to insight. You know, it's enabled me to synthesize a lot of the data, a lot of the research, and quickly land on at least, you know, the beginning of some thoughts, some ideas, concepts. But it also, you know, it can enable the creative team to iterate at scale, you know, much faster. And ultimately, I think for the work, sort of cross-border work that we do, we oftentimes have to localize and adapt. However, I would say this is also one of the constraints because AI can only take you so far. I'd say maybe at best 60-70%, and then the rest really comes from, you know, human intuition. So, you know, I would say in the line of work that I do, those are sort of the key areas that it's really empowered our business.
Yeah, I can speak about my, you know, just how my day-to-day work. So I wake up in the morning. Most of the time in the morning, I don't use AI. Sometimes I use AI if I just want to write an email, draft it out. Hey, Claude, can you make this sound better? And that would be normally how I use AI in the morning when I have to make big decisions as a CEO. For the later part of the day is I get UX bugs or product bugs and features. It used to be I create a ticket and would go to engineers, but there's certain things I can fix myself. I will plop it in a Claude and say, hey, user reported this, and you just like copy and paste it. Would you be able to fix that? And then, so for certain things I used to take, a week to fix because it's in the pipeline of engineers. Now it gives me a chance to just fix it. And then it also writes a nice commit message on GitHub, and then it just pushes it out live. The only thing that I have to do really just quality check at the end. So that's how my day-to-day sort of changed compared to really just last year.
Hi. So one thing that we have observed is that we already have all of these customer data platforms, CRMs, and again, a dozen marketing tools. So it's not really a data problem, it's more of a decision problem. And that's where we see AI creating the most value, is being able to sit on top of these systems, analyze your data while you're sleeping, and surface these insights, and really helping you spend more time acting upon data rather than gathering information. And this is where we see that human is more effective in making these decisions, while the AI surfaces these patterns and effectively reducing the time it takes from insight to action.
Thank you. It's interesting, there was a graduation speaker this week at, not USC, a different college. And the speaker said, you know, to the students, the graduating students, run towards AI. You have to embrace it. That is where we're going. And does anyone know what the students did? They booed. And so we're seeing this tension even through young people. I'm seeing it in the classroom too, where students in particular, they were early adopters, they ran towards AI, and now they don't like hearing it in other student presentations. They don't like seeing it in their team members. And so I'm seeing, at least in the education field, this tension, this pushback against it. So where are you seeing that? Where are you seeing that human touch is needed and where people are pushing back against AI too?
Okay, first I want to comment on what you just said. My children, they are 13 and 17, and they get really upset knowing that I use AI. So that gives you an example of the pushback among young people. But going back to insights, I think because AI models depend on the training data, right? When it comes to consumer insights, a lot of that training data is from the internet, from syndicated studies, and this data tends to flatten cultural nuances and communities. So it will give you something good enough but a superficial understanding of cultural nuances. And so the output will be superficial. Through earlier discussions today, and we think some of the sessions we talk about brand loyalty. I think in the age of social media, and especially in the age of AI, let's forget a moment about brand loyalty, because in order to earn brand loyalty, you need to earn their trust first. And trust is harder to earn more than ever nowadays. And one way to earn trust from your customers is to demonstrate true understanding of them. And that comes from research. That comes from research, doing research among humans, not synthetic respondents.
So for us, it's really, evident that there's a lot of AI fatigue when it comes to content. And I think one particular area where we're seeing, the importance of authenticity, come through is really in storytelling. Especially from the brand's, perspective. I think it's important to remember that, the message that you're providing, even at mass, needs to resonate, on a human level. And, I think now we're all inundated with so much content. Everyone's attention span. I have a 4-year-old, and he already knows how to do this, and I can't get him to watch a movie, which is actually kind of scary. But you just imagine, you have consumers, global consumers now, that are exposed to so much, and it's really important, to just keep in mind that whatever you're putting out there needs to have, the grounding in, real human insight. And the story that you're telling has to have, the nuances, that has to have the cultural relevance, and nothing beats actually immersing yourself in those environments, right? I think what you search and see through AI, it's not accurate, right? You can't, like I said, you can't get the vibe of a place unless you've actually been there. So I think those are all things to be mindful of.
Yeah, I think humans are extremely smart. Very smart in that if you start to put AI emails out, they will notice it right away. M dash. If it's too perfect, it's written by AI. So you almost want to put like spelling mistakes in there just so that it feels like it's written by a human at this point. It's just so easy. I get cold emails, like 100 cold emails a day, and everything is written by, you can smell it from now, you can smell it from X posts, all of those things, everything is now done by AI. So we're just craving for that kind of human just connections, like human mistakes. Maybe that's what marketers need to work on for the next era. But to me, it's like a lot of time, some of the work that are replaced, at least in my company, are the things that they were not really close to humans. So marketers actually are going to be very, very in demand. At least that's what I think is going to happen, because it is the closest to humans. And then everything else that was like far removed from humans, like engineering or asset management or file management, all those things where they're far removed from users tend to be the ones that will get probably a little bit replaced by AI. So because the attention is now so short, it's like, what she said about the attention span is now so short, it just requires that much work for marketers to go grab it somehow, be creative, and then look authentic and sound genuine. So I think there will be more work to be done by marketers and not less work. But a lot of that will be in the creative side, and creativity hasn't been replaced by AI. And I will tell you, I've tried every tool. I have lots of creative tools in my platform. I've tried every single tool out there. It is not even close what humans can make. So I think we don't have to worry about that part at least.
Definitely agree with Jessica. I've been down that rabbit hole, striving for perfection in my email. Then I read it, and I'm like, yeah, I don't know, something's not right. So definitely understand that. And that's the problem with where we see AI right now. You know, AI still thinks closer to 0 to 1 than actual language, even though it's a language model. And that's because it still systematically optimizes for metrics versus emotions and brands and cultural values. And so I feel like the strength in AI is optimization and analyzing patterns, but it's up to the human to generate these creative strategies and for the AI to execute them and to understand what's actually working and what not and forming this loop, whereas it's not just one side doing just everything.
All right, I know we're standing in the way of lunch here, and so we're towards the end of our time. Just one more question and two. And you all started to hit on it, but as AI gets better, and we know it's going to get better, what human skills will also need to get better or become even more important?
In terms of consumer insights, and I think for marketing, it's deep listening to humans, because marketing is communicating with humans, right? So insights need to start with humans, research among humans, not just processing information. And I definitely agree that we should embrace AI. And nowadays there are a lot of market research tools, platforms, for example, AI moderators, synthetic respondents. But I would like to implore you, whatever you do, make sure that part of your strategy, part of your research is it's primary research. It's talking to humans and listening to humans.
I would echo that as well. I think another thing to think about is just putting yourself in those environments and really build a cultural understanding of the audience that you're trying to target. You know, I think there's just no replacing, human connection and, focus groups even, or just going out and visiting some of these places. I think is really key, and that, requires intention, it requires effort of marketers to actually do that and not rely solely on, platforms to tell you what's cool or what's trending. You really have to go and experience it yourself.
Yeah, I would say language skills. A lot of times when I use AI, I have to, let's try again. It just puts out, it's as if you're talking to somebody who doesn't have quite the context that you do. So you give a prompt, it doesn't work, it looks horrible. So obviously you need to have a good quality control and taste yourself. That comes with experience, but it's also a way to explain certain things in many different ways. So it eventually gets it. That happens all the time to me. Let's create this, but with this thing in mind. So to me, it's just understanding. First, the output is shit. You have to know that. That comes with a taste, building a taste, and there are many different ways to say it so that it eventually gets what you're trying to do and finally outputs something. And that's a skill, but to me, that's sort of like, how Google was first developed? It's just that many different ways to search things, and it's very similar vibe. AI tools is not that hard to learn. It's basic Google, but easier even. So, but being able to use it to the fullest is something that we can develop on.
The skill I would say is imagination, and kind of go by this life model is basically there's nothing that you can't imagine. There's nothing that you can do. So basically, the limitation is not the technology. As long as you can imagine how AI can really transform and fit into your workflow, then eventually the technology is going to catch up. And that's where we see where sometimes there's a discrepancy between how technology is being applied to business processing, is because people can't imagine how it fits into their workflow and therefore they're unable to trust it and unable to actually use it. And so being able to connect the dots and imagining how AI will be a part of your day-to-day work is the first step into utilizing this technology.
All right, thank you. And so what I'm hearing is that AI absolutely does not have the ability to understand human nuance as much as humans do, and I think that is still far out of its reach. So we're out of time, but thank you so much to our panelists. So help me in thanking Iris, Pamela, Albert, and Jessica for talking about AI. Thank you.
Okay, hi everyone. For those of you I haven't met, I'm Jenny Hoff-Franzen, the Executive Director of 3F, the one and only from the day one. No. So anyway, I wanted to take this opportunity. What a great morning, don't you think? We covered so many great topics. What were some of your favorite topics? Don't be shy. Okay, well anyway, we covered cultural insights, audience strategy, the future of Asian marketing, brand impact, and AI. I want to take this opportunity to again thank our speakers, our panelists, and our moderators. So as
Thank you. Ooh, look at the food. Food. Okay. We got some booth here.
Lunchtime might be hard, and later might be hard, but that's
Where's alcohol? Is there alcohol? Hello. Yeah, I know.
Hello.
Sorry. So hello. There's like 2 people watching it, but we'll
Nice.
I'll save it.
I love it.
All right. I'll be off now. Thanks so much. Stop screaming.